fighting there for the legacy, you know.
Yeah.
And I also want to fight. I also want to fight there for the legacy.
How are you
And
getting
it's a dream, you know, to be double champion in Madison Square Garden. That's why he's a champion right now, and he's good everywhere. But we will see who is the best fighter in the world.
Yeah,
Very
when
soon, very soon. And
yeah.
it's going very
Do you
quick.
think Islam Makachev will do it 170 when he fights Jack Della Maddalena?
Um, I don't know. I don't care, to be honest. I never thought about that, so I don't know.
Before we move further, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you stay locked in with everything happening in the MMA world. Let's get started. Islam Makachev recently issued a warning to Jack Della Maddalena ahead of their much-talked-about fight. Meanwhile, Jack spoke about Islam's size at welterweight, saying he thinks Islam might not stick around at 170 for long and could drop back down. He also pointed out that Islam's striking can be predictable and said he's confident his own stand-up game could take advantage of those openings if they meet.
I think he just seems like a pretty big guy.
Yeah.
I think he'll be alright.
Yeah. You think he'll stick around at 170, or do you think it's just
I think he'll be one fight and then he'll probably have to go back down.
because of how it'll go?
Yeah.
How do you see it playing out?
I think I can take him out. I think Bilal really just changes stances a lot, walks forward, but I think if I can have someone that just stays in the same stance, and I don't think but Islam's the very good shot. I think I could land a lot of shots and I think I can take him out.
Wow.
If I get taken down, I believe I can get back to my feet.
Philip Rowe weighed in on how he sees a fight between Islam and Jack playing out, saying he actually backs JDM to win. He raised doubts about whether Islam's frame suits welterweight and said Jack's power and knack for getting back up would cause serious problems for him. Rowe said he sees Della Maddalena finishing the fight inside the distance.
Philip Rowe, what's cracking, man?
Chillin'.
Hey, now listen, you're welterweight. You've been in the game a long time. Islam moving up to 170. Is he big enough for 170?
My personal opinion, I don't think he is, but he's a champ. We'll see when he's there. You know what I'm saying? He has a fight. He's fighting the champ. That's the best 170 in the world right now, right? So
Right.
we'll see.
So you don't think he has the size, but how do you think he does in the fight versus JDM?
I personally think JDM beats him. I think JDM will be able to get up if he does take him down. I don't think he'll be able to take JDM shots. I think personally he'll stop at Islam.
Islam Makachev, for his part, acknowledged that Jack Della Maddalena is no easy test. He praised Jack for tightening up his wrestling, an area he struggled with early on, and noted that working with grapplers has paid off. Islam said Jack's improvement is why he's a real threat now, and promised the fight will show who truly deserves to be called the best in the world.
Yeah, it's gonna be a hard fight. Honestly, it's gonna be. I saw his fight against Bilal. He's good, man. He is good. When he beginning fighting in UFC, he had problem with the wrestling, but now he's improved because I see he training a lot with the wrestlers, with the grapplers, and that's why he's a champion right now, and he's good everywhere. But we will see who is the best fighter in the world.
Yeah,
Very soon.
Ilia Topuria didn't show much interest in the Islam Makachev versus Jack Della Maddalena matchup at first, saying it's not something that crosses his mind.
How do you think Islam Makachev will do it 170 when he fights Jack Della Maddalena?
I don't know. I don't care, to be honest. I never thought about that, so I don't know.
Later, though, he did have a tip for JDM, suggesting that targeting the body could help neutralize Islam's wrestling. He pointed out that body shots make takedown attempts tougher, and gave Jack props for his stand-up and overall game.
Have any advice for Jack, who might be coming up against Islam Makachev next?
The advice, like, he has to work the straight body shots, because that takes away the intentions of the takedown. If he works with the straight body shots, he's gonna stop his intentions of the takedowns. And he's doing a great job of striking. I like how he fights.
Islam Makachev has also spoken about his dream of fighting at Madison Square Garden, saying it's a venue where people compete for legacy, not just a paycheck. He said it would mean a lot to him, and hopes to earn double champ status there to secure his place in history. I asked them if there's some opportunity to fight in Madison Square Garden. It would be an honor for me, you know? We fight in the biggest arena for MMA and boxing. It's a legendary arena, you know? I will be happy to have the opportunity to fight in Madison Square Garden.
I asked Dana if there's some opportunity to fight in Madison Square Garden. It will be honor for me, fight in the biggest arena for MMA and boxing. It's for legendary arena, and I will be happy to have the opportunity to fight in Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, you deserve it at least one time, Islam. I know this has been a dream. You said this before. And they have other champions they can fight in Abu Dhabi. They have Magomed Ankalaev now, so this is your chance.
Yeah. This is my chance, and I want, I know some of the fighters, boxing fighter, they're not fighting in Madison Square Garden for the money or just for the victory. They just fighting there for the legacy, Yeah. And I also want to fight. I also want to fight there for the legacy.
How are you getting...
It's a dream, to be double champ in Madison Square Garden.
Makhachev also admitted that bulking up has been tough after years of cutting weight. Even with added lifting and a detailed routine, he's only managed to put on about 2 kilograms so far. He stressed that he wants to build muscle properly through dedicated training instead of just eating more.
I will try to be big, it's not easy, man. All my life I cut weight, but now when I want to be big, my weight stays same position, I try to lift more. We do some program and slowly we bring 2 kg right now, but I don't want to be big by food, eating and not training. I want to be with muscles, I want to training and bring some muscles.
Charles Oliveira gave his thoughts too, calling Jack Della Maddalena a dangerous striker who breaks people down round by round. He believes Islam's added strength at welterweight and his grappling will be the deciding factors, but thinks it will all come down to whether Jack can keep things standing or Islam drags him to the mat.
O que você acha que ganha entre o Jack Della Maddalena e o Islam?
O Maddalena, ele é um jogo muito complicado, porque ele é um cara que... Ele não vem pra te nocautear rápido, ele vem pra te finalizar, ele vem te magoando, né?
Aos poucos, né?
Aos poucos. É o que ele fez agora na luta contra o Bilal. Só que eu acho que o Islam vai se dar muito bem nessa categoria, né, mano? Agora vai estar muito mais forte, é um jogo que, ele gosta de agarrar e botar pra baixo. Eu acho que o Jack Maddalena fazia a mesma luta que ele fez, né? Agora contra o Bilal, batendo, movimentando, saindo, machucando, é uma luta, mas se deixar o Islam agarrar e botar pra baixo, é o time.
Stephen Thompson talked about the challenges Islam Makachev might face at welterweight, pointing out that although Islam is naturally strong, a lot of welterweights walk around at 205 plus pounds. He said that size difference could cause issues even if Jack Della Maddalena isn't much taller. Thompson complimented Islam's wrestling, but reminded everyone that Jack has faced high-level wrestlers like Belal Muhammad before. He called it a tight matchup and said he'd like to see the UFC make it happen soon.
I don't know, man. I mean, when you're going up to the welterweight division, those are some big boys. And I know Islam Makachev walks around fairly heavy, but a lot of these 170s, they walk around real heavy. I'm talking about, over 205, 210 into 215. Some of the guys that I faced would walk around at that weight. I think the height, I think they might be the same height. I think JDM might be a little taller, but when it comes to those guys and their strength, Islam, I think, is going to have a tough time. Now, do I think he could get it done? Yes. I think he's that good of a grappler. But like I said, JDM has faced some of the best welterweight grapplers and wrestlers in the division. Belal being one of them. I think it's going to be a tough night for him. I would like to see Islam fight Topuria. That's just me. I would love to see that fight happen. But if he comes up, we'll see what the UFC gets behind. And we all know you got to convince the UFC to make it happen. And you do that first by getting on Twitter, shouting it out, and get people talking about it. And that's what Islam did. So we'll see if that fight happens with JDM.
Ali Abdelaziz confirmed that Islam Makachev will get his shot at the full welterweight belt this year. He noted that Jack Della Maddalena is the champ for now, but if he can't defend, the UFC will move on with someone else for the vacant title. He said Dana White and Hunter Campbell have signed off on the plan and made clear that Islam's title opportunity depends on Jack's status. If Jack's out, the belt goes up for grabs and Islam still gets his chance.
When will it happen, Islam and Jack?
Islam fighting for the title this year. The non-interim title, a title. Jack Maddalena is the champion, but if Jack is not available, it will be someone else fighting Islam for the title. That's what the UFC told me, that's what Dana told me, that's what Hunter said, everybody said. And that was one of the stipulations. If Islam go up, Jack get injured, and I hope he's healthy, and he seems like he's healthy, this title will be vacated and Islam will fight for welterweight.
Luke Thomas had good things to say about Jack Della Maddalena's striking in his last outing, but pointed out some defensive flaws and risky takedowns that Islam Makachev could exploit. He said, Islam's patience and accuracy could take advantage of those gaps if they fight.
Striking prowess of JDM, if he could just have enough time to get it going, would be enough. I think Muhammad somewhat overperformed relative to expectations, but in the end, JDM was better. But the defensive lapses, to me, I know we have to focus on like how good JDM is as a striker, but what could have cost him here was the incompleteness of his defense. And to me, he took a quantum leap forward today in showing how good that was. Now again, trying to turn that defense into offense by trying to go for some of those ill-advised takedowns, especially in the fifth, and then you're getting kind of lateral drop for it. You do that against Islam, and I think that's a huge mistake. Islam just doesn't make a lot of mistakes, right? He doesn't necessarily have, at times, always the flashiest offense. I mean, he does have very good offense. We're talking about the pound-for-pound number one guy in the sport. But what really defines him is that he makes very, very good decisions.
Thomas also said he's very intrigued by Makhachev's move to 170, calling it a huge shot at a second belt and a bigger legacy. He agreed a fight with Ilia Topuria would be amazing too, but said he's even more curious to see what Islam does at welterweight.
Islam up at 170 to me is exciting. I know what everyone's going to say. Oh my God, the best fight you could have made in MMA was Ilia versus Islam. I'm not denying it. I'm not in any way asking you to feel differently about what was the best fight that could be made. But here's what I am trying to tell you. Islam up at 170 could be something really special. It could fizzle too, but I'm trying to point out the positives. It could be really special. For him to become a double champ could be a very big deal.
Javier Mendez said he sees Jack Della Maddalena as the bigger challenge because of his size, versatile striking, and overall skill set. He explained that Jack brings more to prepare for than Ilia Topuria does, both technically and physically, which makes him a tougher puzzle to solve.
JDM is a trickier puzzle to figure out than a potential fight with an Ilia Topuria. It's interesting because both of those guys, both JDM and Ilia Topuria, they both possess great boxing, right? But they're both kind of tricky puzzles in their own right. Who do you feel like is the trickier puzzle to figure out, JDM or Ilia Topuria?
For me, JDM. JDM is the tougher one because of number one, the size. Number two, he's good everywhere. If it was just boxing, then we don't have to worry as much because JDM's boxing is not as good as Topuria, but overall, his kicking, his kneeing, his overall game is very good.
Alexander Volkanovski gave his take on the matchup, saying that Jack's performance against Belal Muhammad was just what he needed to prep for someone like Islam. He thinks the improvements Jack showed in defending takedowns will make it tougher for elite wrestlers to control him now.
Islam Makachev is going to be fighting Jack Della Maddalena. How do you think those two match up?
I think Jack's fight against Belal was a perfect fight for leading into that. Just purely, you take a lot out of stop and takedowns, because again, every fighter's still going to have little doubts that are going to creep in. I'm sure Jack was going through that, being like, all right, worried about, what if he takes me down and all that. But the fact that he was able to stop it and feel so comfortable, I guarantee you he's leveled up again. His confidence in his takedowns has just went up significantly leading into this fight. I think his confidence is going to be at a whole nother level. So through camp, I guarantee you if he's back in training right now, people trying to take him down are going to find it almost impossible. Only the top guys are going to have a chance of taking him down, and they're going to have a very hard time even holding him down.
Dustin Poirier said this fight will probably come down to what happens early on. If Islam secures takedowns, he wins. But if Jack keeps it standing, his striking and size could overwhelm Islam. He also said Islam's stand-up sometimes looks off because everyone's always worried about the takedown threat.
Do you think he beats Jack Della Maddalena?
I think we'll find out first, second round how much trouble he has getting him down. I think if he gets those takedowns, he's going to get the win. If Jack can stop those takedowns, which he does have good takedown defense, I think the boxing and the size could wear on Islam and give him some problems. But his striking's, awkward and different. You have to worry so much about the takedown. You can't plant your feet and throw off those number combinations and really rip and sit on your punches because he's going to change levels, so it changes the way you fight. Well, for me, it did. I'm speaking from experience. So we'll see how Jack approaches and how Jack executes out there. But if you're worried about takedowns, you know, your shots are different. You're not sitting on everything and standing in front of the guy. You're trying to move and be light on your feet. I think the first 2 rounds will tell us how this fight's going to go.
Michael Chiesa spoke highly of Jack Della Maddalena's fight IQ against Belal Muhammad too, highlighting his movement, stance switches, and ability to stay off the cage. He credited Jack for evolving his game and staying calm when pressured, and said he's curious if training with Craig Jones will help him handle Islam's grappling-heavy style.
We have to give credit to Jack Della because he did such a good job not getting boxed in. He was able to change stances, strike from both stances, and avoid the pressure from Belal, because if Belal can box you in and get past that black line, you know, he's gonna, and when I say black line, it's the octagon within the octagon. There's that black line right by the fence, and if he can get you past that black line, that's when he pours it on the thickest, and he did a good job using his stance changes to not get boxed in, forced Belal into taking long shots, and forced Belal to fight his fight. So I got to give credit to the former champion. He fought a great fight outside of his wheelhouse, which is his grappling, but credit to Jack Della for fighting a great fight.
Does he beat Islam, do you think?
I mean, we'll see. I mean, it's Islam's a big boy, and he's a very smart fighter. I don't know. You know, we'll see if the Craig Jones magic can pay off. Is Craig Jones really the kryptonite to the Dagestani style of fighting? That remains to be seen, but I'm here for it.
Henry Cejudo predicted that Islam Makachev will beat Jack and become a 2-division champ, saying that's the next big milestone in his career. Kamaru Usman, on the other hand, backed Jack, praising his composure and saying he's got what it takes to hang on to the welterweight belt. Both expect this clash to go down in October in Abu Dhabi, which would push any plans for Islam to face Ilia Topuria back a bit.
I think Islam Makachev is going to beat him. I think he's going to become the 11th double champ in UFC history.
Islam tweeted, keep it shiny, keep it nice for me. JDM, I mean, it was kind of like the perfect comeback. He was just like, yeah, come get it.
Keep my belt clean. Okay, so the fucking has begun, dude. That fight is set. That fight's going to take place in October, Abu Dhabi. I think we all know that. We're no longer going to get Ilia versus Islam Makachev just now.
Aljamain Sterling made a bold prediction for Islam Makachev versus Jack Della Maddalena, picking JDM to win big. He said Jack's size, reach, and clean mid-range striking would make it really hard for Islam to get in close or shoot takedowns. Sterling added that Jack's physicality cancels out one of Islam's biggest advantages, and that a one-sided loss could ruin plans for Islam to take on Ilia Topuria next.
You picked JDM to win. Now he's got a big challenge in his first title defense against Islam. Do you think he's got what it takes to beat an Islam Makachev in his first defense?
People are going to say it's a wild take, but I reckon JDM smokes Islam. Shins him so bad. It's going to be so bad that the Topuria Islam thing will just be gone.
Do you think Islam's wrestling won't be a threat to JDM just because he's a lot bigger?
He's a lot bigger, and when you watch JDM, you put him on the end of mid-range, he's just going to throw. That's hard to shoot in on. He's not going to be able to just abuse his size against him either. I think Islam's in for a rude awakening.
Daniel Cormier called this potential fight a must-watch and wondered whether Islam's wrestling and high fight IQ would hold up against a naturally bigger fighter. He also questioned if Islam has enough time to put on the extra size needed for welterweight.
It's a fantastic fight. It's a big-time fight. And if Jack Della looks the way he did last weekend, it's very, very intriguing fight. Because we've never seen Islam Makachev fight up at 170 pounds. We've never seen it. We've never seen him have to compete up 15 more pounds. Yes, he is a big dude. But in terms of full-on stature, is he big as Jack Della Maddalena is? And also, if he thought he may fight International Fight Week, how small had he gotten? And how much time does he have to put the weight back on the right way before he moves up to 170?
Sean O'Malley said that Islam Makachev versus Jack Della Maddalena would be a big event, though he thinks it wouldn't be quite as massive as a matchup with Ilia Topuria. He praised Islam's win over Belal Muhammad, saying it adds even more interest to the fight with Jack. O'Malley pointed out that if Jack defends the takedowns and lands clean, it could be a real battle. But he also reminded people that Islam's striking is sharper than it gets credit for.
Islam relinquish his belt and go up to 170. Got JDM taking on Islam Makachev.
I still think Islam's skill for skill is just
so high level. For him to go out there and do what he did against Bilal was very impressive. Made that Islam fight more interesting. If JDM can shut him down and throw those hands, but Islam's boxing is underrated. That dude is slick. His kickboxing, his timing, like he's a high level black belt in every aspect of MMA. Who'll give him that? Jack versus Islam, I think, is huge. Not as big as Ilia versus Islam, but who knows? Maybe they both win and Islam comes back down to 55 and the fight's even bigger.
O'Malley added that Islam's move up to welterweight is an exciting development and that physically, he won't be too much smaller than Jack. He said he believes Islam's skill set can balance out any size disadvantage and that striking could be a bigger factor than people expect.
How do you think Islam does at welterweight? Who knows? I heard he's not going to be any smaller than Jack come fight night. 55 to 70, that's a little bit different than 35 to 45, 45 to 55. But when your skill level's that high, as Islam's is, it'll be interesting if he goes in there and tries to shoot on Jack. Jack stuffs him and gets in his face, but Islam's striking is so underrated. Islam could put the hands on Jack too.
That wraps up everything for today's video. Let us know what you think down in the comments. If you enjoyed this breakdown, give us a like, hit subscribe, and check out the other videos we've got for you right here on the screen. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.